Class is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, travel professionals, and welcome to today's training session. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your morning to join us today. My name is Doug Cook. I'm the publisher of Jack's Facts Travel Marketing, and I will be your moderator. Today I'm joined by Augustine Minja. He is the owner of Tanzania-based AA Africa Tours. Today Augustine will share with you information about the country of Tanzania, as well as the tours that his company offers. After the presentation, there will be time for questions and answers. Augustine is an expert on Tanzania, so this would be a great time to take advantage of his expertise and ask him any questions that you may have. You can send those questions to us in the space provided. And now, without further ado, let me turn things over to Augustine.
Thank you, Doug, for hosting this webinar. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you all the travel agents and operators for participating. I'm Augustine Minja, the founder and managing director of Augustine's Adventure Africa, trading as AA Africa, and it's a great pleasure to have you here today. This webinar has been designed to give all participants a great overview on attraction that Northern Tanzania has to offer. We'll briefly show you each of the parts and what it offers. We'll go ahead and show you and talk a little bit about the mode of transportation that our clients use when they're out on safari. I will also talk about accommodation, options of accommodation, being lodges and tented camps that we have. And then we shall quickly cover on why you should choose us as your Tanzania tour operator or supplier. We'll also talk about our dedication in wildlife conservation, which is another strong point that should make you consider us as your supplier. I'll start by quoting Ernest Hemingway on his quote that he said, "I never knew of a morning in Africa when I woke up that I was not happy." So when you're in African wilderness, you're always going to be happy and enjoying the diverse fauna and flora that we have. A quick introduction of our company, Augustine's Adventure Africa, trading as AA Africa, is registered and licensed tour operator based in Arusha, Tanzania. We are members of Tanzania Association of Tour Operators. We are also members of PATR New York chapter. I founded the company in 2009, and I'm a native Tanzanian. Professionally, I'm a naturalist. I have about 21 years experience in organizing, operating, and guiding adventure safari in East Africa. Our company specializes in custom-made adventure safari to Tanzania, mountain climbing like Kilimanjaro and Mount Meru, but beach holiday in the Spice Island of Zanzibar. And we do provide extension to Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. And I'm very happy to announce that we have been awarded 2019 Certificate of Excellence from TripAdvisor. And this is due to consistent achievement of high rating. I'm talking of 5-star rating from our travelers. My quick profile, I was born and raised on the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. And after my secondary and high school education, I joined the prestigious School of African Wildlife Management, where I graduated as a wildlife management expert, specializing in tour guiding and visitor services. I've also taken long distance studies with Cambridge International College, based in the UK, where I was given a distinguished advanced diploma in tourism and travel agents management. Before I founded my company, I worked as with the largest safari operator in Tanzania as a safari consultant, a bilingual tour director, and naturalist guide, where I organized and led various tour groups, including zoos and alumni association from the United States, whose group came to Tanzania and Kenya for safari. And I speak about 5 languages, 3 of them being local English, and French, being part of that. I have extensively traveled in the United States to promote Tanzania as the best wildlife destination. And in 2005, I was invited to speak at the American Zoos and Aquarium Conference in Chicago, where I spoke about tourism attraction in Tanzania and the challenges that wildlife conservation has in Africa. 2009 was the year to found Augustine's Adventure Africa, and since then, I have been running the company as its managing director. I'm married to Eva Minger, who is an accountant by profession, and she's in charge of all the domestic bookings and all the finance matters. We're blessed with 3 kids, and I spend most of my time reading wildlife ecology research journals, and I have keen interest on wildlife photography. So that would be a very quick bio about myself. Now, Tanzania National Parks. Tanzania offers a lot to the adventure safari lovers, probably more than any other destination. As a country, we have set aside 40% of our land for wildlife conservation. So when you choose Tanzania, you're choosing a country with abundant and one of the highest diversity of wildlife in Africa. We have several national parks that I'm going to quickly cover: Arusha National Park, Tarangire National Park, Lake Manyara, the Serengeti, and Ngorongoro Crater. Arusha National Park is a small national park, only 45 minutes from the downtown Arusha, which is like your getaway. And when you visit Arusha National Park, the major attractions here include Mount Meru, which is the 5th highest mountain in Africa. There's various craters there like Ngurdoto, beautiful lakes, Momela lakes with a lot of flamingos. You have a chance of seeing black and white colobus monkey, which is one of the unique, beautiful monkey that's available in the country. And varieties for those who enjoy bird life, variety of birds are available in here. Activities to do include the normal game drive, but you have a chance of doing walking safari, which means you are escorted with an armed ranger and you can explore nature on foot. And in this wonderful national park, you can also do canoeing, which is a different activities that most of other national parks do not offer. Tarangire National Park is another fascinating national park and is nicknamed the Elephant Kingdom of Northern Tanzania. This ecosystem has a lot of elephants, and the river that you see in this map is like the backbone of this, and this is where most of the animals concentrate. We are talking of 2,500 elephants. So if you don't really enjoy elephants, you will not appreciate this national park. So the major attraction is the highest concentration of elephants in the northern Tanzania, and a lot of birds, varied habitat, and a wonderful bird life. Manyara National Park, being the second oldest national park, is rather small, is found between Lake Manyara and the Rift Valley Escarpment. It's a little beautiful national park that will make you feel like you're nourishing your soul. It's one of the parks that have the highest concentration of baboons. You have a chance of seeing tree climbing lions here. The bird life is amazing, especially the flamingo, because Lake Manyara is a salt lake, so it hosts a lot of bird life. One of the things that you do here includes doing a night game drive, which a lot of national parks don't do, but you also have a chance of doing walking safari with an armed ranger and explore nature on foot. But right outside this national park, there's trails where people can do mountain biking. So it's an opportunity to do a lot of other activities. And here comes Serengeti, which is like the mother of all the national parks. You know, it's a World Heritage Site. It's known for its at least 2 million animals, wildebeest and zebras migrating. There's nowhere else in the continent where you have this many animals migrating in the Serengeti Mara ecosystem. If you come during January, February, and March, you have a chance of seeing the calving of the wildebeest, and I'm talking of 250,000 of them being born within a very short period of time, One of the best population of elephants are here, and excellent diversity of the bird life. But not only that, the vastness of Serengeti makes it a unique ecosystem more than any other that you can find in Africa. You have do normal game drive, but you can also do short walking safari originating from some of the lodges. But this is the best place to do a balloon ride, especially if you're flying over the wildebeest migration. You've heard of wildebeest crossing Mara River and crocodiles waiting for them. This is the park that has that. And if you have enough time, you can even do canoeing in Lake Victoria, which borders the park on its western side. Ngorongoro Conservation Area, this is where the famous Ngorongoro crater is a unique World Heritage Site, and one of the reasons why it makes it unique is the cohabitation between the indigenous Maasai people and wildlife. And Maasai people have been living with wildlife from time immemorial. And since they don't eat game meat, they are always the friends of wildlife conservation. Major attraction here includes cultural visit to some of the Maasai people, seeing a lot of wildebeest migration during December through March. But you have a chance of doing the hike. We have got two other craters, Olmoti and Empakai. These are excellent for people who want the emphasis on the walking tours. But not only that, if you believe in evolution, Oldupai Gorge is found in the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. And this is where, this is considered as cradle of mankind. This is where at one time we all originated from this place. The Leakey family were very famous anthropologists, discovered and a lot of hominids, skulls, and stone tools, making Oldupai Gorge one of the very famous cradle of mankind. From December to March, if you're in the southeast of Serengeti, is where you see all the wildebeest migration scattered in this particular area. The most important part in Ngorongoro Conservation Area is actually Ngorongoro Crater, which makes about 3% of the total area, but it actually accommodates 70% of all the animals that are found. These are one of my group on a viewpoint overlooking the crater down here, a most fascinating view. And although it's a very small area, only 105 square miles, which is basically the size of Washington, D.C., you're seeing one of the best concentration of animals more than anywhere else in this planet. It includes seeing the rare black rhino right here. Look at all the abundance and diversity of the game animals that we have down here. But also look at this group here. One of my group, we organized them a private bush lunch. You can see the crater rim, and they're having their lunch right in this open wilderness, being as close to nature as they can. We also have what we call wildlife managed areas, which are areas around national parks. And this is where the local people have invested into conservation and attracted people to come and build camps. And since these are not national parks, you can do a lot of activities, including a lot of walking tours, visiting villages, and so on. I'm going to quickly cover about the mode of transportation we use. This is one of our safari vehicles. We basically use four-wheel Toyota Land Cruisers with pop-up roof, as you can see in this picture right here. And it has 7 window seats. Right at the back of this Toyota Land Cruiser, we have a refrigerator that keeps all the water and drinks very cold. And we also have charging outlets. So when we are out on the game drive, you can always charge your phones or your cameras in case we're running short of that. So these are some of our vehicles. Here we had a big group of students and teachers from New York, about 42 of them. And these are our jeeps in one of the national parks that we had a wonderful picture taken. So when we are doing game drive, we have these vehicles roof pop-up, as you can see, for people to stand up and do the safari. And each one of the clients have a window seat that give them plenty of views when they are enjoying the game viewing out there. Now, the other mode of transportation that we have is air where we have small, there are small companies that have small airplanes. We call this bush planes, which can take, anything between 10 to 18 seaters. And we use this for flying from one national park to another one, for those who will opt to go that way, or do your trip end up in Serengeti and fly back, or vice versa. So we have that option available. The disadvantage is it costs a little bit more when you fly from place to place, but it is something that's available. And these are some of the pictures that you can see which our clients use. Accommodation. We have the national parks, and around inside and outside national park, there's wide choice of accommodation categories available to suit budgets and interests of our clients. Each of these facilities is beautiful on their own way, and it should not be compared to one another. Some of these facilities, I'm talking of lodges and camps, some of them are inside the national parks, and others are outside the national parks. To be able to cater for a wide range of budgets and interests of our clients, there are options such as deluxe lodges and tented camps. This will be equivalent to 3-star facility. And then we have a much superior level. We call that luxury lodges and tented camps. This will be equivalent to a 4-star. And then the ultra luxury tented camps, this will be like 5-star. Some properties are found inside the national parks and others are found outside the national parks. All the properties inside the national parks, they use generators and solar power as their main source of energy. But some of them who are outside the national parks, where there's electricity, they are connected into the national grid. Solar power is extensively used, especially for boiling water to take shower, charging, and the lights, because most of these facilities, lodges and camps, are eco-friendly, and they would rather use solar power than generators throughout. In terms of food, selection of Western and local food is served, and even guests with different needs, like allergies, or they don't eat this and that, as long as we get the information ahead of time, those needs are taken care of with no problems. A lot of these facilities, actually most of them have Wi-Fi, because we are more into technology these days. So clients are able to communicate with their families. They are able to download their photographs or send their emails. Some of the people are using, when they're on vacation like this, they are checking their work emails. So those facilities are available. Credit cards facilities also available in most of these places, except for some of the semi-permanent tented camps. Now, these are some of the facilities that we have. This is in the Serengeti, 5-star facilities here with a large pool. That's actually a 4-season. And we have other, as you can see in the pictures here, some of our guests having a wonderful time with a magnificent view. A lot of people, when they think of Africa, they think, oh, there's no good place to stay. We have magnificent places to stay. Look at this tree house here, which is a lodge in Tanzania National Park. These are all the luxury facilities we have in the Serengeti. This one is also another one that's a luxury tented camp. So in general, our accommodation are either lodges, like you can see, these are located right on top of the crater, Ngorongoro crater view. So they're either a permanent lodge or a tented lodge or a semi-permanent tented lodge. Now, you can see these are facilities. The bathroom are here. Some of the luxury ones have even a bathtub. Look at the sinks here where you can, take shower, brush your teeth, use a hair dryer. This is a normal shower over there. So guests should not be worried on a place to stay. It's all about their pocket. If they want to go deluxe, it's more affordable. Luxury goes a little bit high. Ultra luxury is like being on a 5-star. So we have tried to select the best facilities, but taking into account different levels of budget so that each of our clients can be able to come and see, because the animals are the same. Whether you stay in a 5-star, a 4-star, or a 3-star, a lion that you'll see would be the same. But this is just to give you a more opportunity of taking care of your client's budget. These here are example of what we call semi-permanent, and these are moved to follow the wildebeest migration in the Serengeti. When the migration is up in the northern part, that's Mara River, you have this over there. When it moves down to southeast of Serengeti, they just dismantle it and put them over there. So these are what we call semi-mobile or semi-permanent, but they are en suite. You have your bathroom inside, flashable toilet, they have a big dining tent where you can have meals and so on and so forth. So in that case, you're well taken care of. I'd like to spend a little bit time here and speak to you on why you should choose AAA Africa as your supplier. In the first place, all our trips are customized and they're privately run. We do not sell seats. We treat each group on its own way. All our itineraries are designed to follow the wildebeest migration. For those of you who have not been to Tanzania and in Serengeti in particular, wildebeest migration change position. It keeps moved to follow rain and water. Now that is the highlight of safari. So for us, we don't do it like a lot of big companies that have a set itinerary that does not follow where the migration is. So one of our key value is we design our itinerary following where the migration is. If migration is in the northern side towards Mara River, we'll take our groups over there. If migration is west or southeast, we'll do that. But our very important and strong value is we incorporate in almost all of our itinerary, provided there's enough days for that, village walks and to expose our guests into the African lifestyle. The lodges and camps where they stay does not really give them the true African lifestyle. So we take them out to visit villages, visit schools, and you can see in these pictures. Look at the grain here. This is a farmer's market. We also provide a naturalist guide who will be like a tour director, but he's a more trained, high level of training on wildlife, and he'll be giving, educational talks as he moves with the group. So participating in these activities, like if you see in this picture here, our groups is visiting one of the schools. Here we were doing a village walk and we found the local people harvesting corn, and we get our clients out of their comfort zone and make them do that. Here they are actually helping the locals on brick making. So in the end, this is what our guests remember more than wildlife, is the local people activities. Look at one of our clients here. We were visiting a school and the school kids were digging a trench. And we welcome them to come and participate on this. Look at this picture here. One of our guests is getting training on how to do the beadwork. Here we visited a wood cover place, and one of our guests who was interested is doing that. Look at this, the Bushmen, Tindiga tribes people teaching one of our guests on how to make fire. So in the end, our trips are designed not only to give people an opportunity to see the game animals, but to immerse them in the local culture so that they can proudly go home to America and say, we have been to Tanzania because we have done what the local Tanzanians do. In my company, 99.9% of our clients are from the United States. And what they remember in the end, they say, Augustine, we enjoy the animals, but hey, the local culture that you immerse us will stay with us for the rest of our life. The other reason why you should also consider us as your supplier is in all our trips, we include the service of flying doctors. This is an opportunity of evacuation in case there is a life-threatening thing to one of our clients. We have never needed it, thanks God, but it's available because in the end, you end up being in the very remote areas where medical facility is not there. But the air ambulance service that we incorporate in all our trips is a great backup in case there's a life-threatening incident where we need to evacuate one of our clients to a proper medical facility in Nairobi, Kenya. We request you to consider us also as your supplier because we are so much dedicated into the wildlife conservation. As you know, Africa and the world in general is going through a lot of problems in terms of poverty, education, human and wildlife health concerns, population growth in Africa is so terrible. There's a lot of agricultural expansion, increase of energy and demand for wood, charcoal, and firewood. These being challenges, our company has been working side by side with the local people to educate them on the importance of conservation. And one of the things that we do is sponsoring school trips in national parks to create awareness at that level. When you teach the youngsters about the importance of wildlife conservation and you sponsor them, taking them into the national park to actually see these animals, it will make more sense than just showing them a documentary of wildebeest migration. If they can go and see that, it makes more sense. And that's what we're trying to do twice a year, sponsoring various local schools to go and do that. And we do that from a small profit that we get from our operation. We also donate money to help with anti-poaching with our organization here. Like there's a very big de-snaring project that our association, Tanzania Association of Tour Operators, which we are active member, we are one of the people who are highly supporting that. So in the end, a combination of what I've said, by booking a trip with us, it will really make you participate in conservation of wildlife, because the money that we are getting back to the local people into conservation, to anti-poaching, into de-snaring projects, is the money that we get from the clients that you guys will send us. So by doing that, you may not feel that, but you're actually contributing into the conservation of wildlife in this country. To get the best photograph is always about being on the right place and at the right time. And some of these are photographs that we got from our trips. One of the things that is a value-adding thing that we do in our high-end programs is providing a bush lunch in the Ngorongoro crater, as you can see it in this photograph over here. We also do extension to Zanzibar, which is the Spice Island, located on the east coast of Tanzania. Zanzibar it provides the opportunity for our guests to relax, because safari is not a vacation. Safari is really an adventure. After, say, a 10-day safari, our guests are ready to take a little vacation, and one of the places we take them is Zanzibar, which has a lot of history, especially of slavery. This was the major slave market in Africa. And also there are very nice beaches. Zanzibar has a lot of spices, and our clients enjoy the spicy tour. But for those who like to do snorkeling and scuba diving, that's a great part. We also take them to Rwanda for gorilla trekking. Gorillas are endangered species. So for those who are able to hike like 3 to 5 hours, that's great opportunities in Zanzibar where they can actually take that little vacation. So, dear friends, I thought I should share that with you on this short webinar. And to assure you, we work with a lot of travel agents from the United States. As I said, 99.9% of our guests are from the United States. And I come there periodically for marketing, meeting the travel agents we work with, and attending some shows, and so on and so forth. So with my 21 years of experience into the business, and not only that, serving as a naturalist, because that's where my passion is, that's where I was trained, we will appreciate an opportunity to work with you, and rest assured that your clients will come back home extremely happy, knowing Africa, Tanzania in particular, on their fingertips. And one of our clients, including one of the Hollywood movie stars who came here in the year 2013. So we have hosted different groups, big school groups, different professional groups, special interest groups, and so on and so forth. And a lot of information can be found in our website. Our name is Augustine's Adventure Africa, but in short, it's AA Africa. And our email is augustine@aaafrica.net. It's right on the screen, or info@aaafrica.net. And we have our United States representative, Kevin Strait, and his contacts are shown over there. And we have a lot of travel agents. If anyone wants to talk to them and get an endorsement, we'll be very happy to share their contacts with you when we have one-to-one communication. If you are an adventurous travel agent, a lifetime adventure is awaiting for you and your clients. And we'll appreciate if you can give us a chance to take your clients to the right place at the right time. We thank you so much for your time. And this webinar covered a few things as from accommodation to the mode of transportation that we use, attraction that this country has to offer, our dedication to wildlife conservation, and the reason why you should consider us as your Tanzania supplier. I thank you so much, and I'll return you back to Doug, and I'll welcome you if there are questions. I'll be very happy to answer those. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Augustine, for a very informative presentation. I think you brought up some important points, and that is, as fascinating as the wildlife is, I think these days people are looking for that cultural immersion that you offer, and I think that often is what people remember the most, is the interaction they had with the local people and the culture. So I think that's fantastic.
That's right.
And you are to be congratulated on your conservation efforts. That's equally as important.
That's right. That's right.
Great. Okay, let me see if people, please, if you have any questions for Augustine, you can send them in now. I have a couple questions here to get us started. Augustine, what is the best time for our travel advisors to recommend to their clients to travel to Tanzania? The best time of year.
Thank you so much, Doc. There's only 2 months that we don't recommend our clients coming here, and that would be April and May, because that's the peak rainy season in Tanzania. Anytime else is great on its own way. As I said earlier on, we design our itinerary to follow the wildebeest migration. So when the wildebeest migration during July, August, September, they're up in the Mara River area, we make sure that our itinerary include that part. When wildebeest migration have moved down into the central part and western part of Serengeti, we go ahead and include that. When it's January, February, March, the herds are down in the southeast of Serengeti. We include that in our itinerary. So basically, each time is great, except for May and April, because it's really pouring down.
Okay, great. What is the ideal number of days that you recommend for the safari and the cultural immersion?
From my background of being a professional naturalist who have been doing this for 21 years consecutively, I will not recommend anybody flying from the United States to Tanzania to come and do a 5-day safari. Most of our safaris are 10 to 12 days. It can go more than that because we customize each one of those trips. But if somebody is really running short of time, I will not recommend less than 8 days. But a good pacing safari should be between 10 and 12 days. And remember, we have an opportunity of, depending on the budget, of letting the clients either decide to be driven the entire trip or end up in Serengeti and fly back an hour and a half back to Arusha. So the bottom line is not less than 8 days, but a good pacing will be 10 to 12.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And Augustine, what is the maximum group size that you work with or that you can handle?
So we can handle any size group. Like I told you, I explained in the presentation here. This year in February, we had a big group of high school students from New York. There were a total of 42, teachers and their students. So it's case by case. A minimum is 2 people. We have taken 1. When we had the movie star from the Hollywood, she was here by herself. But a group size really depends on what the agents have, because remember, this is privately operated. We would not mix the clients of this tour travel agents with somebody else. But I will say a good size group will be 12, okay. But it can go 18. But the bottom line is we can handle any group size.
Okay, perfect. And what commission level do you offer to travel advisors?
Right. So the way I work is a lot of travel agents that I work with from the United States, they prefer that I give them the net price and they add on their markup on top of that. In the very past, we are doing a little bit of both commission and net price, but most of them prefer that we give them a net price and they add their commission on top of that. But we're extremely flexible. If there is anyone who would like to work on the commission basis, on one-to-one, we can always talk about that. And most of these commission ranges between 15 to 20%. But our priority and 99% of the travel agents we work with, we give them a net price. But as I said, we're flexible and we can discuss that on one-to-one if there's one of the travel agents that prefers the commission system.
Sure, great, that works. Okay. Just a reminder that we are recording this webinar, so if there's any information that you would like to review at a later time, you can find this recording on our website at www.jacksfax.com. Just a quick housekeeping note there. And also, I think that's it for questions. If anybody does have any other questions, you'll see Augustine's contact information there on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to him. And I think that will do it for today. Again, thank you everybody for attending. Thank you, Augustine, for taking your time to give us this great presentation.
Thanks so much.
Of course, everyone watch your email for invitations for future training sessions. And with that, we will conclude today's webinar. I hope everyone has a great day and a very happy holiday season. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.